Welcome back. Now, Nigeria's health system is struggling due to the brain drain of medical professionals, leading to shortages of skilled personnel and impacting service delivery and patient outcomes. Now, the nation's coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Mohammed Pate, recently said over 16,000 Nigerian doctors have left the country in the last 5 to 7 years to seek greener pastures abroad. It's no doubt a worrying situation. Dr. Pate also revealed that the doctor-to-population ratio in the country is now 3.9%, 3.9 now per 10,000, while the estimated cost of training one doctor exceeds $21,000, a figure, of course, that reflects the magnitude of public financing leaving the country. The minister further lamented that nurses and midwives who have left also thinned the number of healthcare workers in the country. According to him, the migration of health professionals from developing countries is not new, but it has accelerated in recent years. Pate emphasized that the phenomenon offers an opportunity to rethink and reshape the policies to manage the valuable health workforce in ways that benefit our countries first and foremost. Well, joining me to shed more light on this is Dr. Tuyume Baodu, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Medway Health Limited, based in Lagos. Doc, thank you very much for coming on the program. The minister's revelation, of course, quite worrying. 16,000 doctors leaving the country in the last 5 to 7 years. How worrying is the situation? Because it must be a lot of workload for those of you who are left behind and trying to save lives in the country.
Yeah, very concerning. Nobody will be happy with that amount of doctors leaving your health landscape. More importantly, when your capacity to produce more doctors is constrained. Not just doctors leaving Nigeria and going abroad, but doctors even in Nigeria leaving the medical practice and doing some other work. So they are both internal JAPA and external JAPA. So we're documenting the external one. But the reflection can be better grasped when you now look at the medical and dental council record and figure out that, barely we have less than 30,000 doctors practicing in Nigeria. This is a country, by 2030, I told you about 5 years' time, our population will be 263 million people. And for 263 million people, you are getting barely 50,000 doctors catering for them. There's no way you can deliver health outcomes with that numbers. And then if you look at that, our capacity to produce doctors in this country is just about 3,000 doctors. Total number of doctors produced by every medical school in Nigeria, 3,000 every year. And our shortfall is 250,000 doctors. So you can imagine, even if you are doing 3,000 every year consistently, the number of years is going to take for you to produce 250,000 to even meet that minimum standard before you start talking of supporting and maintaining. So it's a dire state, very, very dire state we find ourselves in. And then the thing is even worsened by the fact that recurrent strikes, industrial actions. I can tell you, until last week, that when the medical senior consultants, they were on strike in the southwestern part of Nigeria, keeping the medical student at home. So it is what it is. Capacity to train, capacity to even absorb those numbers. If you look at the absorption rate, if it's about 7%, maybe you look at about 23%. So people want to become doctors, they don't have a space because in reality, there are not enough people to train them. So it has to be a holistic approach. It's not just by some paying lip service to policy of health workforce migration. It's not just things that kind of lip service.
What do you make of that policy? I mean, you just talked about that policy because that's a policy that the government launched not quite long ago. That's the policy on health workforce migration, and the whole idea, as the minister explained, is to check migration. Talking about better incentives for doctors, talking about providing, better equipment and all of that. It's a whole lot, quite encompassing now, I should say. What do you make of that policy? You think the policy will go far enough to address the situation?
First, let's commend the minister for thinking of that kind of policy, especially at this time. Unlike previous ministers who rather claim that we have sufficient doctors and we can now import them. Of course, we remember Adewale, who wants doctors to come and be sewing cloth. We remember Gige, who said that we have too many doctors and we can then export as many as possible. But this minister is being realistic and talk to the meat of the matter. So we're happy that he spoke about it. But of course, we understand the incentives given to doctors, either in terms of training, tax breaks, some collaboration with foreign countries, and all that to help encourage that, and then moving them to rural areas with government support. That is nice. That's very good. But there are fundamentals on which this policy can stand on. Number one fundamental is trust. You will agree with me, Badmos, that there is a breakdown of trust between government and the governed, and it has not returned. You've seen severally government making promises to doctors, resident doctors, and those promises are just promises. It never got implemented. That's number one. So we have to actually firm up the trust between us if we want this policy to work. Secondly, there are subnationals to health delivery. Federal government can have a beautiful policy papers. Have you domiciled in Zamfara? Have you domiciled in River? Have you domiciled in Lagos? So there are, okay, look at the issue of minimum wage, for instance. Beautiful as it is and wanting to drive anything, how many states are paying minimum wage? This policy will suffer the same fate where a governor will tell you that, listen, I don't have resources to manage those kind of things. And that will raise a lot of issues. No, and then fine-tuning, okay, because at the end of the day, you have to look at the issue of labor, migration law, and trying to limit people from moving around. And for some of us, it becomes concerning when government try to frame the medical profession as a corporate benefiting from their subsidies. That can even be queried. Let's face it, every graduate in Nigeria every graduate from Nigeria has benefited or is benefiting from these subsidies. Lawyers, journalists, politicians, everybody that benefits because you've gone to school, did you pay the right thing? But again, even at that, doctors still pay far, far more. And then there's no scholarship to say that if you are studying medicine, you are studying nursing, you are studying pharmacy, this is a special scholarship for federal government for you. So what are we talking about? So when you frame a particular profession to look good, it's not proper. It will bring antagonism, it will bring quarrel, it will bring disagreement. So don't let us, they should stop that framing, because every time I hear that, oh, we have spent $21,000 to train each doctor, and there's a huge loss for us. And I ask them, how much did you use to train lawyers? How much do you use to train politicians and accountants? When they are leaving now, even IT guys, when they are leaving, are they not huge loss to you? So what incentive are you giving to them? And I can tell you from personal experience that even some of us that have children in medical school, we know that we pay. We pay, honestly, we pay. If you have, whether you're a government institution or in private institution, you pay. So the government should, first of all, drop that kind of perception. It will raise anger and annoyance within people. Let us discuss honestly how we can deal with challenge of human resources for health. And of course, the capacity to expand training is nice. But again, you want to expand training, DEJI. You want to expand training. Look at it. You have to absorb more medical students. You have to get more medical student teachers. You have to get more equipment, arrange hostels for them, put all these things together. This is a holistic thing. So in reality, you have to go and reframe the structure of your university to be able to absorb those people. It's not just by signing papers and reading it on. It's not just by press releases. Then secondly, after the number of, you have to assure that these people will not spend 10 years for a 6 years course. It's very disheartening. It will erode their what I call their commitment to the nation. Don't allow that to happen. And then thirdly, there's residency, which means that you have to train specialized cadre of medical doctors. And even at that, when these doctors have finished training, to even have a place to absorb them for housemanship or internship is difficult. They come to me every time looking for somebody who can press button for them. We can't pretend as if we don't know that all these things are happening. And after that, some of them that have even done that and are looking for jobs, it has to be, you have to go and meet one politician, you have to go here, you have to go there. They won't give you
Essentially,
jobs.
what you're saying, doctor, is that look, yes, it's true we have shortage of doctors, but even those who have stayed back, those who are they just can't find job as well. And you're right. I mean, I've had situations.
They can't find job.
Yes,
they can't find job. Yeah, they can't find job. And then when this guy stay in his house, first year, second year, he's not finding job. You don't want him to go and write foreign exam and go away. What do you think he'll be feeling? Despite all the investment the parents has put on him, despite the fact that he has a life to live, you are not giving him job, and you are bringing policy to say that he cannot go away. I mean, that's quite untidy. So in reality, there are factors, there are grand factors we need to resolve clearly and clearly. If you want to be sincere, I am not talking about politics of health. You know, like I've always mentioned over and over, the politics of health is the real problem of policy of health. You know, you might want to sound nice, okay, but on the ground, let us put this in there on the ground. And then you look at it that even recently, we've seen quite a lot of hospitals being attacked. We've seen doctors being kidnapped, ransom being paid. And then you want, if they can escape from kidnappers, then you want them to do what? To come and stay and be running around and saying that, listen, I'm patriotic. You saw one dentist that was on the way to just to pick something and then travel abroad. She ended up in the hands of kidnappers in that Abuja Kaduna, and of course she died. So let's get our basics right. And here we are. You've seen doctors tell you that they are really committed to establishing facilities to train more people to make themselves, to make more doctors available in Nigeria, and they have to pay 2.something million for NEPA. Please, let's be honest. We've not started talking about how to address these issues. There are external issues to health that is affecting health. There are even deeper health issues that is affecting health. And then if you want to rank universities, medical schools in Africa, of course, yes, you probably see Nsukka, maybe in Africa, coming at number 24 or so, and maybe if 23 and if 24 and all that kind of thing. But even at that, tell you, if I want to do stem cell technology, and that's my area in medicine, that which is of course are the new things in medicine, which university will do it in Nigeria? Which university will do it? Must everybody be gynecologist? So in reality, we have not addressed that issue. So, and then to address that issue, we know that first and foremost, we must actually have to go and reform our education system. If you don't reform the education system, and you're talking about doctors running away, not running away, we're still wasting our time. You have to move money into the medical training
Unfortunately, we haven't got time. But let me ask you this final question before we end this. For some of you who have decided to stay, I mean, you are here. I believe you have doctors who are working for you who are here as well, and you must have met several other young doctors who are here as well. What is the motivation for you to stay back?
You see, first and foremost, it has never been my style to stay abroad. If I had wanted to stay abroad, as far back as 1999 or 2000, I would have been in America, because that was around the first time I entered America, and I was thinking of staying until I looked at the whole process and felt that no, Nigeria needs more doctor. If I had wanted to stay, but of course, when I went studying in Sweden, they asked me whether I'm going to stay back. I said no, I'll go back to Nigeria. There must be something in you that puts you in Nigeria and want to serve. Of course, then my own mother was falling sick. I can't leave her for anybody, and I have so many other people that will fall into that category. We wanted to stay, but of course, training doctors has been, quite interesting and amazing. But I can tell you sincerely, out of the many doctors that have trained, I can mention Ivy League institutions they are in America, in South Africa, in Ireland, in UK, and I encourage them that, listen, don't be like me. You need to maximize your knowledge. You need to improve on yourself. One of my doctors is actually in Cedars-Sinai Hospital in California, one of the top guys on stem cell research, and he's been taken to America. One of them is in University of Pittsburgh Medical College. He's a wonderful urologist. So they're just all over the place. But the simple point is that I've told them, this is the reality of my country. If you want to maximize health and do well for yourself and for your family and for your mental state, that we are not ready yet. So if we want to be ready, we must also be able to encourage backward migration, what I would call jackpada, in such a way that the light is available, security is there. We've put some infrastructure in place to allow people, even if you're in South Africa, in Nigeria, South Africa, to come and set up facilities there. That seemed to be happening in a few years back, but I'm not sure the zeal is increasing. I'm not sure the zeal is increasing because the trajectory of the nations is not helping them, really.
All right, I think
we can do better.
We'll just have to leave it there. But I want to thank you and those of you who have stayed behind, because I mean, you're doing a wonderful job. If not for you, I wonder what our healthcare system would be like. And the hope.
Thank you for thanking us.
Yeah,
we're still here.
And the hope is that someday soon we'll have this, jackpada trend, actually rise, and we'll see more of our doctors come back with their expertise, and that will definitely help our healthcare system. Thank you very much, Dr. Tuyime Baodu, for coming on the program and sharing your thoughts with us. Thanks a lot. All right, that's how much we can take on the program this week. We thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.